second video. First video, if you haven't given it a watch, head over there and give that a watch, give it a like and get subscribing. So first video, obviously I'm still learning recording myself for this kind of thing. Still find it a bit weird, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. One thing I didn't realize with the first video was the background music. So I added background music to the parts I was talking. In the original edit, it was actually a lot quieter than when I was talking, and then for some reason in the upload process onto YouTube, it like balanced the two out. Didn't know. Obviously, we live and learn. I guess I just won't add background music in future for when I'm talking. But yeah, it's all part of the learning process, and I'm sure I'll get there. Thanks to all for the comments and show of support with the first video as well. Means a lot, and hopefully I can keep making better videos to entertain you guys. So yeah, thank you. So second video is mainly going to be about me cleaning the car, how I clean the car. Currently though, it's 1 degree outside and there's snow on the ground, so I'm probably going to do this in a few takes because I don't fancy going out there. It's absolutely freezing. Plus, I don't want water freezing on the car. It won't be very good for the car or for my hands. But we'll probably go through and talk about some of the cleaning products I use, and then next take, hopefully when it's a bit warmer, we'll go through how I clean the car, and I'll probably have some different clothes on by then as well. But yeah, we'll go through and see how we get on. So if you don't know already, the last few years I've been competing in concourse competitions, the 𝐼𝐸 So you know, I've already explained, I've won a few trophies here and there for doing those competitions. But it's sponsored by Angel Wax, so because I've won a few trophies in that, normally you get a few cleaning products with the trophy as well. So hence why a lot of my products here are Angel Wax. Now, great products. I use various different cleaning products for all kinds of things, and I'm happy to talk about, you know, some of my favourite ones, which are all the ones on the shelf here. I do have a lot more, but these are the ones I like to use all the time, and I have different uses for different ones. So we'll go through and I'll show you what I use. So Car-Pro-Pearl, I like to use that for the underside in the engine bay. Not all the time, but here and there. Reload, sometimes use that for exterior paint work. The belt and hammer auto wheel, I actually use that on my wheels occasionally, but also on the daily. Obviously I've got various waxes there. I tend not to use wax very often because the car itself is actually ceramic coated, so not really much point in putting wax over a ceramic coating, you're kind of defeating the purpose, but it's still handy for wheels and things like that. Obviously these are just little bottles that I take sometimes in concourse. We've got Revenge there, that's actually for getting bugs off the front of the car. Brilliant, it's a great product. Vision, that's for doing the glass. Again, that's brilliant. I use that quite often. Been through loads of that. We've got a few QEDs, just like a quick detailer. Brilliant, that shows. Really handy as long as the car's not too dirty. Got the new shampoo there as well. And then this is one of my favourites, the Atomic QED. It's like a graphene type detailer. It's amazing, gives an amazing glossy, smooth finish to the paintwork. And then you've got the Atomic shampoo to go with that as well. Again, graphene, I use them all the time, they're brilliant. Then moving on to the 𝐼𝐸, I do use 𝐼𝐸 for interior, and we've got a few different ones there as well. So intensive tar remover, I use that all the time in the arches or in the car. It just gets all the tar straight off. Brilliant stuff. Doesn't normally come with a spray bottle, but a spray attachment, so I put that on just so you can spray it on rather than putting it on a cloth. Vinyl rubber care, you know, obviously does what it says on the tin. Great stuff. That one I've not actually tried yet. I got that free with something, but it looks like it's good stuff, so I need to give that a go. Meguiar's, I think Meguiar's stuff is brilliant, to be honest. I've been using that for over 10 years. Great products. So I've got a few of Maguire's stuff. Obviously got the metal polish, I've got the interior brush, I've got the ceramic wax for exterior, and I've got this the ceramic detailer as well. Again, amazing stuff. Gives the paintwork a nice smooth finish. This ultimate black is brilliant. I use that on quite a lot of the trims on the outside of the car. Just gives it a nice sort of new looking finish. The liquid wax actually does the same job as well. Quite like that one. Got a few of that. Use the liquid wax. Sort of on the wiper arms and various rubber bits and pieces. Even the mirror caps. Great stuff. Endurance tyre gel. I tend not really to use that anymore. I like to use the Car Pro Pearl. That is the best stuff I've ever used on tyres. It's just, there's no flick off or anything. Great stuff. You should give it a try. And then metal polishes. I quite like the white diamond stuff for doing the back box. That's really good. So like just the back box and the main part of the exhaust. And then if I'm doing the inside to the tips, I tend to use Auto-Sol with a cloth. Again, Auto-Sol, been around a long time, amazing stuff. Use that quite often. And then we're going into the sort of finer concourse stuff. So these long brushes, I use them in the engine bay mainly for getting into those hard to reach areas, and the tiny little brushes again into the hard to reach areas. You know, it's when you're getting into concourse, this is the sort of thing you need all the time. And this one is like a really fine toothbrush. It's not actually a toothbrush, but looks like one, but it's great for getting the muck out. And then this is even more sad, I suppose, but these kind of like cotton buds with a point on the end, they're amazing for getting around the badges and things like that. And then these ones I tend to use on wheels or those hard to reach places, brown badges, different brushes, different things. And then these nylon ones I use on the underside with tire remover. Gets it straight off. Brilliant stuff. And that's about it for cleaning products that I use all the time. So moving on to washing the car. Obviously it's quite a personal thing. Everybody's got their own way of doing it. What I'm showing you guys is how I like to do it. Obviously it might not work for everybody, but it works for me. So like I said previously, that is ceramic coated, has been for quite a few years now. Ceramic coating, I think personally, is brilliant. It just helps the dirt fall off. Obviously I don't use the car as a daily car, so it doesn't really get mega dirty. I don't use snow foam. I personally don't see the point because it doesn't get dirty enough. What's the point in pulling dirt off that's not there? So what I do is I go around it with a jet wash, and then I'll use the 2-bucket technique to wash. So obviously with grit guards in as well. So I've got one that I put my shampoo in, this one here. So I'll put a bit of shampoo in there, warm water, not hot water, because it takes any protection you've got off on the car. Give that a good mix, and then I've got my cloth that I use for the exterior of the car. Obviously I'll do a few panels at a time, jet wash that off, go around panel, few panels at a time till it's all washed. So 2-bucket technique, if you don't know already, use that one for your shampoo. You wash the car and you put it in this one to rinse off, and you go back in there, wash the car, so you've effectively got a cleaning cloth all the time. This one here I use for wheels, so I like to keep the wheels one separate from the paintwork one, just in case it picks up any grit. Wheels are powder coated, it's a bit of a more hard wearing paint on there compared to the bodywork paint. So once it's washed, obviously jet wash it all off, get all the soap off, then I'll go around it with something like this. So this is a drying towel. It depends on the weather really and how much time I've got. Obviously I always wash it outside. If it's quite a warm day, I'll go round it straight away with one of these. If it's a bit of a cooler day, I've got sort of like a pet groomer under here. It's like a blower, so I'll go round it with a blower and get all the water out of the joints and everything like that. I only do that if it's not a hot day because I lose time otherwise. You go around it with this straight away, after it's washed, it stops all the watermarks on the paintwork. Once it's dry, I generally bring it back in the garage, and then I'll go around it with some detailer, something like this, the 𝐼𝐴𝐸, or possibly even the 𝐪𝐴𝐸𝐴𝐸 ceramic wax, just whatever I fancy at the time. I like to mix it up a bit with different products. So I'll go around it generally with something like this. Gotta love the green with the green car. So yeah, this is a nice soft, I think this is a 600 GSM detailing cloth. I'd like to use something like this on there to keep the ceramic coating nice, and it prevents it from swirl marks as well. I always use a soft cloth for detailing rather than something like this you would get from Halfords or the 𝐟𝐞𝐚𝐭 cloths, whatever. These are terrible for giving your paintwork swirl marks, especially on some darker colours like black or non-metallics. They're really bad for giving you swirl marks, so I always use something like this. So everybody's different. This is just bits and pieces I've picked up over years of cleaning cars, and soft cloths always work well, so I'd recommend using them. That's about it really for a quick clean, and then we'll go into the depths of how I go into more of a concourse type clean, where I'll take all the wheels off, daft as it sounds, but I will take all the wheels off. I'll clean the backs of the wheels, I'll clean in the arches, and then it gets even more serious where I'll go underneath the car and I'll clean under there in the engine bay, and then it generally moves on to the interior. When I'm doing stuff like this, it could take me a full day to clean, rather than just a quick 1 hour clean like I guess most people do with cars. So yeah, it's mad, but that's what I like doing. I enjoy it, and hence the car looks like it does, and the trophies that we've got up in here. Just a bit of an insight on the work that I put into the car. Show you guys how I do it. So as I mentioned in my previous video, I've not actually cleaned this since it was at the NEC, which was in November. So I drove it back from the NEC and I packed it up in here, and that's where it's been sat ever since. So believe it or not, this is the condition it came in. Now to me, this is dirty. I know to most people it probably looks like mega clean, but to me this is dirty and it does need a good wash. However, I think the products I use, because I clean it so often, it obviously shows how well it protects the paintwork and how it keeps it clean, or helps to keep it clean. I mean, it's not bad considering it drove, I think it was 200 miles from where I live to the NEC. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad, to be fair. The wheels are a bit dirty, but yeah, there's a bit of dirt there. There we go. I knew I found some dirt somewhere, a bit on the mud flaps. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad at all, to be fair. So I'll just do a bit of a walk around video, and probably put a bit of background music on, just so you can see what it's like, and I'll talk in and out. If you follow me on Instagram, I quite often put videos like this showing that it's show ready. I quite like doing a walk around video of how the car's looking. This cable, unless anyone is wondering, is for my smart charger. So I just put a cloth on there to stop the cable doing any damage to the paintwork. And that's my smart charger there. I've had this smart charger for probably 10 years now. They're great things. Recommend getting one of them. Just keeps the battery in good condition, keep it topped up. There we go, bit of dirt. It's really not been washed since I had it at the NEC. It is dirty.
evidence of driving it back. Look at the dirt on the exhaust. Yeah, needs a good clean under there as well. As you can see, driving these, it doesn't kill them underneath. Just takes a lot of work keeping them clean, that's all. Again, on the inside, I haven't touched it since it was at the NEC. It is dirty to me, it wants a good clean. So, just to show you further evidence of driving back from the NEC, look at the dirt that's in there. I know for most people this is probably like crazy clean for an engine bay, but for me this is dirty right now. It's going to give me a good full day, maybe more, of getting this all clean. So engine bay clean, I've got a few products I like to use in there, but mainly if I'm doing a relatively quick clean, I'll use some 𝐼𝐸𝐴 QED to give it a spray over, and I've got an older but clean cloth, so I won't use this for the outside of the car, but I'll use this in the engine bay. So I'll clean in there with that, and then sometimes, but not all the time, I'll use the CarPro Pearl. So I do a 50-50 mix of water. That's what I mean. You can do different dilations with this product, but I'd like to use a 50-50. So what I'll generally do, if I'm using it, I don't use it all the time. I'll spray it on and I'll leave it probably overnight, and then I'll come back the next day and I'll just buff it off. Works a bit like a wax, I guess, but it gives it an amazing glossy finish. It's really good stuff. If I'm going into a more thorough clean, I'll actually take a lot of the engine bay apart. All of this plastic stuff will come out, and I'll go down into the depths. That really just depends if I'm doing a concourse competition or not. Sometimes I'll actually take the bumper off, and I'm hoping to do some videos or a video on that explaining how you take the bumper off and what's involved, but that'll be in a future one, and I'll do the same for the rear as well.
So I think what we'll do next, I'll get it started up. You can hear the bit of that running. We'll get it moved outside and get it washed. I'll probably speed up the washing process, but obviously stop in different areas to explain what I'm doing. We'll go through the washing, drying, and go on from there. But like I said before, snow outside currently, so I think I'll wait till it's a different day and we'll continue on the next day, which is now. Back on after 2 weeks. So snow's gone, rain stopped. It's finally dry enough outside to actually go and wash the car now. UK weather, nightmare, but it is what it is. So we'll get the car out, I'll get it dried, probably speed it up, who knows, see what happens in the editing. Yeah, go from there.
So that's the car pre-wet before I wash. Like I said before, snow foam, I don't bother with it. Maybe if it was a daily car, I might use snow foam, but it's not really that dirty. I don't see the point in using snow foam. Like I say, ceramic coated anyway. Not to say that using snow foam's wrong. I just don't see the point. So as you can see, I've got my wash and my rinse buckets. So my cloths always stay in the rinse one, transfer over to the wash one, which has got all the soap in. Again, this is only warm, it's not hot. I don't know how true it is or not, but I've been told that if you use hot water and you've got stuff on the car, it can actually take the protection off. So I use warm water. I've done it this way for years, never had any problems. So give it a good soak in there. Then when I wash them in the car, I always start from the roof and work down. I'm sure most people know how to wash a car, but I'm just showing people my way of doing it. I'm sure everybody's got their own way. So do a bit at a time, rinse off. Straight back in the soapy water, back on. So that's the car all washed, jet washed off. So now I'm going to move on to the wheel. So I'm going to use this. What I'm going to do is spray it on, leave it for a few minutes, jet wash it off. I'm not going to scrub it with the shampoo because I'm going to take all the wheels off anyway. This is just to get the pre-clean. Yeah, we'll do that now. Right, just to show you me spraying up the wheels, so I give it a good spray up. This is kind of like iron fallout type stuff, I guess. You don't want to be leaving it on the wheels too long. Any brake dust on there, it reacts and it sort of turns red. You can see that doing it on the discs already. Do the calipers as well. Just helps get all that brake dust off. Now, this is also safe to use on paint, so I spray it on the mud flaps and I do a bit around the arches. That's turning red already. Mud flaps again. That's been about 3 or 4 minutes now on this wheel. You can see how red it's gone from all the brake dust, etc. So, like I say, normally if you've got heavy build-up, you probably want to brush this in, but I'm just doing a pre-clean before I take the wheels off and clean them a bit more thoroughly. Okay, so wheels done. I'm going to move on to drying the car off now. Now, if it was in the summer, I'd go straight over it with a drying cloth. Because it's a bit cold today and it's in the winter, I'm going to go over it with this, which is just a dog groomer. It's nothing special, but it's just to blow the water off and get it out the joints. Yeah, so I'll go over it with that. Like I say, if it was in the summer, I wouldn't do it this way because it would dry out too quick, and then I'd get watermarks on the paintwork, and I'd have to go over it, wash it again to get all the watermarks off, and yeah, go through the whole process again. But I've got a bit of time this time of year, so I'll go over it with this, then I'll go over it with a drying cloth, and then we'll get it back in the garage. So that's the worst of the water off the car. Obviously when you're drying, you want to make sure that your cloth doesn't come into contact with the ground, because it'll pick up any grit that's potentially on the ground, and then you're rubbing that into the paint. So if I was to accidentally drop this, I would put it straight in the wash and get another one. So that's what I sort of class as my base clean. What I'm going to do now is go around and open all the doors, the bonnet, and get all the water out that's gone down in the door shuts. So I'll probably use a combination of the pet groomer and a drying cloth, and then that'll be sort of base clean finished. So put that on fast forward so you can see.
Okay, so car's back in the garage, washed, dried. That's what I class as sort of stage one of the car, which is a quick clean for me, quick clean. That's probably taken me 3 hours to get to this stage so far. Obviously, I need to go around and clean it with detailing spray and softer cloths and get the glass all clean and everywhere else needs a clean. But I think what I'll do is I'll cut the video here because this is probably quite a long video already, and I'll get into the next one where I go into the other stages of the clean. Like I say with the cleaning, cleaning is one of those things that, you know, I'm not a professional detailer. There's probably a million different ways you could clean a car. There's probably a million different videos on YouTube about how to do it. I think it's quite important to do it a way that suits you. Like I say, there's probably detailers out there that will say, "Oh, you're doing this wrong. You're doing that wrong." I probably am, but it suits me. It works the car. I'm not causing any damage. You know, it does get judged. Nobody's picking up on any issues if I am causing any issues. Like I say, do it a way that you like, what suits you, and your time scale. This is probably way more than what most people do, and I get that, but this is, you know, I'm quite thorough when it comes to cleaning, and I do compete in competitions with it. Cleaning products wise, obviously I've gone through some of the ones I use. I'm not sponsored by anybody when it comes to cleaning products. I like to mix it up a bit and try different ones and yeah, see what works for me. But products I'm using at the moment works for me. I quite like stuff that's easy to use, easy to apply, doesn't cause me any extra more time than is needed, and obviously gives fantastic results. But I will continue to try different ones, try different things, see what works for me. But yeah, like I say, I'll cut this for now and I'll continue today, but then it'll move into a part 2, I guess, and that might move into a part 3, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But for now, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if anybody's got any comments or wants advice or anything, get it in the comment section and I'll do my best to answer as soon as I can. Thanks, see you on the next one.